If you're looking for woodworking projects that sell, this planter box trellis combo should be a big hit. If you're a DIY guy that's wanting to do some springtime projects, this is it. We're going to start with the fence picket planter box trellis. I've pre-assembled some of this so that this would be kind of sped along, but here's the back section of the planter base that is going to incorporate the trellis. Type bond 3 for outdoors. It's waterproof. You can clamp these if you want to. I ripped a picket down to 2 9/16, 2 inches, and then the offcut piece. And they're all layered here, 3 high, to create a cavity that holds the hog wire. I cut the hog wire down to 21 inches. The width of the trellis is 24 inches. There's 2 cavities that I separated with a 2-inch wide strip inches of the picket. So I'm going to cut these down. I'll be right back. Here's some of the hog wire. I wanted to go ahead and show you. I've already cut those down to size, but this is how easy this is to cut. We're going to want to place those grids in place before we secure these tops down. You're going to want to use outdoor decking screws. They're coated. Don't use drywall screws, please, but these are 1 1/4 inches, and I'm going to pre-drill and countersink because Cedar splits really easily. More type bond 3. This is kind of an afterthought I'm putting in here, and that's a piece of the offcut. Let's grab a few pony clamps, Jorgensen's. Let's go ahead and countersink. In hindsight here, I should have just brad nailed this and then flipped it and screwed it from the back. Let's do this side. I can't find my countersink. I'm sure it's on the ground. So much for that. Instead of swapping bits all the time, let's just take a minute. I ordered this like the first week of January, and it was the Lowe's deal of the day. I paid $169. I would like to thank Lowe's. They issued me a gift card to purchase some of the items and the materials that we're going to be using throughout this video. I am a Lowe's partner, and there will be a link in the description if you should want to go online and make any purchases. The channel will get a small commission. So let's get into it. Oh yeah. This is one tool everybody needs. That's a small compact charger. Since I've thoroughly cluttered up my work area with a bunch of brand new tools, and that's much quieter than this one. There's my little countersinker. Now, I'll just grab this other one. I've got calibrated eyeballs. The back section, you are going to need 2 68.5-inch long, 2 9/16 of an inch wide long supports. Then you're going to need 2 of the 51-inch with the same width, 2 9/16. And then you have the offcut piece that is sandwiched in between the 2 of these. All right, so 68.5, 51 inches. Then the offcut piece is also 51 inches. Then you have these cross member pieces, 21 1/4 inches long. These are 1 7/8 of an inch wide. 1 7/8, and then the one at the top is the same. What I'm going to do is I've pre-clamped this up over here. and I'm going to use some scrap pieces as spacers, but I'm going to glue this. That's flush. Obviously you're going to want to check your 90s. I positioned this back section on the edge of my assembly table, and everything is square. Let's take these two 21 inchers. We're going to put these in, which is going to be the dirt container portion. This is one of the corner legs that's coming up. This is 1 7/8. I'm going to put that on the outside. I'm going to clamp this on here so I have a place to brace against. And then I'm going to put a little spacer in on that side and on this side, and this is a piece of scrap. Okay, so there's my scrap. So I'm going to put this in here just to space that for me. And then same thing over here. Those are 17.5 inches long, and then I'm just going to bump it up against there. That feels good. Bump it up this way. All right, so now I've set my position where this is going to be. I can take out these little spacers if I wanted to, but let's go ahead and glue this up. I'm going to let these set up. I will have a link in the description to Lowe's of the material list and tools that were used. I'm going to do the same over there. Got to butt that up against there, and I have to put my spacer back in. That is right here. Alright. I just want to make sure I kind of got some decent clearance. Alright, I'm going to go set the other side, two sides up, and then I'm going to screw these sides on. So I screwed the planter portion of this back trellis piece, and now we're going to go ahead and walk through building the planter box portion. This is the front of the box. I went ahead and pre-did this. These are the same rip cuts that I did. It's the 2 9/16 inch wide pieces. They're 17.5 inches long. I took the 21 inch picket boards that I had cut down. You can see I've glued and I've screwed these together. You're gonna wanna make sure you screw from the back side. And I used the same procedure that I did on the other side. 2 pieces of wood to give me my setback. These are glued, the corner pieces, which are these same dimensional, they're 17.5. These are the 14 inch side pieces. Throw it all together at once. And that way I won't have to worry about the glue setting. I still got a little bit of opportunity to wobble it together. And I just want to bump it up flush down here. Check. You're going to want to make sure that you do this when you're putting it all together. They're snug, but they're not terribly tight. We take this piece, flip it around. This guy's ready to go together. I will tell you that this first piece that I put together, because this is picket fence, there was some twist in these boards, and I clamped this all together, screwed it and glued it against my assembly table, and it pulled some of that twist out of these, but some of that twist translated in to these 2 legs. And hopefully this comes out perfect. That's part of the reason why I decided to assemble this the way I did. So We'll see how it works. Let's take a look from this way and I'll show you the square. You're going to see in several locations where I'm continuously checking my square. It's just a good practice. And when you're gluing something up, it's kind of permanent. Let's put this baby together. I'm considering hiring somebody to draw up some assembly plans for this. If you think that you would be interested in that, drop a comment. If you've made it this far, how about liking the video, consider sharing it with your other friends that are DIYers and woodworkers, and subscribe. Thank you. Let it soak some up. So I'm going to let it sit here for a minute. Draw the glue in now as opposed to squirting it out all over the place. Let's go. Get these all buttered up and stick it together with brad nails. I was never really good at walking and chewing bubble gum at the same time. I don't know why I would think I'd be any better at spreading glue and walking. They're still good, still good, still good, still good. I want to go get a wet rag and I am going to clamp these together. Here's my rag. Here's my water. Wet water as opposed to dry water. Dry water does not do a very good job of cleaning up your glue squeeze out. And I'm just shooting this together with the brads, and I'm going to come right back and screw this together with those 1 1/4 inch coated decking screws. This is brown pressure treated, and it is a 3/4 inch by 6 inches wide picket. A lot of pickets, like all these, are 5.5 by 5 5/8. But I wanted to try out the wider pickets and just see what it looks like. I'm building another one of these out of this. I'm also doing a version that's going to be modern, that's got a slatted. It's going to have slats in the trellis portion. I think it's going to look pretty cool. I'm going to be building a birdhouse that you need to subscribe if you want to see them, because it's going to be a picket smorgasbord this spring. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop brads in this thing. I'm going to stand it up. I'm going to come around to that side to do the edge. Okay, so I'm going to pin right down here on this edge into this piece here. But I'm actually kind of tipping it like 1 degree toward downward like this. Just a subtle amount. Now on this one, I'm gonna pull it out just a hair like that. Now see, if I go in this orientation, it can blow out this way. So I'm gonna have to turn it like this. I wanna keep my fingers out of the way because I don't wanna plant a nail in my hand. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm out of the way. That's perfectly flush now. And it was in about 1/16 of an inch. Here's my deck screws that I'm gonna put on. And when I screw those on, I'm gonna be screwing from the inside so you don't see any screws. All right, let's stand this guy up. Wow, look at that. Man, there's no wobble on that. I mean, none. Woo, winner, winner. I'm gonna pre-drill these, like I said before. Cedar splits very easily. This is my 6-foot cane right here. Let me out! I cut this a little bit shorter than the opening. And in this case, it was 20 1/4 inches. And it's almost 13, but I want to give it a little bit of clearance. I cut 3 boards to 12 7/16. So they'll drop in here. You can rip more of these down if you wanted to. I did not want to. So it won't take 4 of them. And a little bit of drainage isn't a problem. We're going to trim this out. So I'm going to go flush here with a piece of wood that is 2 9/16 wide. To continue this, it's going to be flush cut on the back. It's going to be 45 on the corners. I got one cut right here. I just pulled up from the back to 14 inches, cut a 45, cut a 45. Get those exactly the way you want them, and I'm just going flush on the edges, just like that. And then you get a measurement from the long point to long point, this point to that point. This one is 23 13/16. Rag handy. That corner's flush and that corner's flush. I would definitely, next time I would do this, I would add about 3/4 of an inch to this and notch out for this so that I'll take this distance, place it on this edge, and I'll know this is the outside of my board. Again, I'm orienting it like this, not like this, because if I get a blowout, it'll go out either side. And I'm going right there. I decided that I wanted to go ahead and clamp this up because I'm basically done for the day.